20年了，终于真的上一讲了。其实我是出生在基督家庭里面的，在我很小的时候，奶奶就带我去教堂参加敬拜，我总是被安排在第一排，安静地坐着。当别的孩子吵吵闹闹的时候，而我总是最安静的，而且一坐就是2个多小时。幼小的我肯定不是很情愿的，所以稍稍长大的时候，懂事了一点，我就开始找各种理由不参加聚会了。当我17岁的时候，奶奶去世了，我还清楚地记得，在她最后的一刻，她用微弱的声音呼唤我到团前，让我一定要信耶稣。而此前几年，因为在中学里的进化论、无神论已深入了我的脑海，直到开始读大学，远离家乡，所以就更没有机会，所以就更没有谁来提醒我、带领我去教会了。所以渐渐地，我离神也越来越遥远，几乎忘了神的存在。大学毕业后，我自然还是一个无神论者，除了工作就是工作，开始为了房子、车子、婚姻和孩子拼搏了，所以更没有时间和机会接触上帝。2008年金融危机后，外包软件行业受到了很大的冲击，渐渐地有公司开始裁员了。09年，我也成了失业大军中的一员。当时那种恐惧、彷徨、没有神的眷顾，是非常的无助和痛苦的。但也因为失业，所以我又找到了新的工作，这是一份手机开发的工作。那个时候，移动互联网行业和智能手机刚刚兴起。接下来的几年，移动互联网和智慧型手机出现了爆发式的增长。我抓住了时机，毅然辞职，创办了自己的公司。就在这短短的2-3年内，我的人生理想都实现了，所以成功来得太快，我一下子失去了人生的追求，再次陷入了人生的迷茫。而神给我的恩惠实在是超过了我的想象。去年8月份，小儿子在美国洛杉矶降生，这是上帝赐给我的又一礼物，之前却一点也不知道，反而觉得这些都是我自己的勤劳和智慧所得。在美国这段时间，我又有了机会接触上帝。教会里的弟兄姐妹们非常热心，我也经常去教会。渐渐地，我知道了受洗的重要意义。但是，因为那个教会的形式和我小时候的去教会的那种形式差别太大了，所以我一直没有办法接受洗礼。直到今年初接触到中华归主教会。我感觉好亲切啊！有的诗歌我听着是那么的熟悉，旋律竟然和我童年时所听的一模一样。虽然我当时还小，还不认识字，但是我却记得那些歌词的发音。20-30年了，现在唱这些诗歌的时候，我确信，这就是我小时候跟唱过的。所以每当听到这些熟悉的诗歌，我就会想起小时候奶奶带我去教会，让我坐在第一排的情景，有时竟然还会默默地流泪。我知道，此时此刻圣灵已经充满了我， 现在接受洗礼也很自然、水到渠成的事情。感谢上帝一直以来没有弃我而去。虽然我曾经不信他，但他却一直在带领我一步地慢慢地靠近。而上帝赐给我的也已经远远地超过了我的想象。愿上帝继续眷顾我和我的家人，让我的下半生能够更好地荣耀和服侍神。谢谢大家。
Hello everyone, I was born in a Christian family. My grandma took me to the church when I was very young. Unlike most of other children in the church who are usually impatient and fussy, I was sitting quietly in front of the church, but I wasn't sure I fully understand when I was there. As I grew up, I started to make excuses to be absent in the church. My grandma passed away when I was 17. I still clearly remember in her last moment of her life, he spoke to me in her very weak voice and asked me to accept Jesus Christ as my Savior. However, as atheism started to occupy my mind as I started to learn about evolution in school. Furthermore, I left my hometown for college, and no one reminded me the need to go to the church anymore. I gradually separated myself from God, and I almost completely forget about God. After college, I was as atheist, of course. At that time, life was about work, house, car, marriage, and the family. God is totally out of my radar screen. In 2008, I lost my job during the financial crisis, and I was so scared and anxious. Without God's blessing, I felt so hopeless and was in a great pain. Later, I got a new job in the mobile communication, which was a very high growth industry at that time. The opportunity was so good that I then quit my job and started my own company. In 3 years, I earned everything that everyone is looking for. But this success came too fast, and I started to get lost again. Nevertheless, God's blessing is much more than what I can imagine. My son was born in Los Angeles last August, and he is our gift from God. Not until this moment I realized it's God's blessing. I always used to take everything I had for granted, because I think I earned everything by myself. Since I came to USA, I started to get closer to God again. People in the church are very nice and eager to offer their help. I started to go to church again and learn the importance of baptism. However, I was unable to make up my mind to get baptized yet. It was not until early this year when I first came to CFCC, I feel this church much like home. Some of the worship songs sound so familiar to me. They almost have the same reason as the song I heard in the church when I was very young. Even though I don't understand the words in those songs when I was very young, I'm pretty sure I sang those songs in the church with my grandma 20 years ago. Now, every time when I hear those songs, it made me think of the old time with my grandma in the church, sitting in the front row. And sometimes I can even help myself with tears out of my eyes. I know now I'm filling with Holy Spirit and I'm ready to get baptized. I deeply appreciate God for never leaving me alone, although I turned my back to Him before. God is always leading me the way and is getting me slowly close to Him. God's favors on me are far beyond what I can imagine. I pray God to continue to pour His blessing on me and my family. I will serve God and glorify God for the rest of my life. Thank you.
我从来都没有想过有一天我会站在教会这里，然后跟大家讲说我信主。我就是在中国出生，在中国长大，然后就是从来没有接受过基督教的信仰。在国内的时候呢，我觉得我还是生活的比较痛苦的，因为很多孩子小的时候都会有一个偶像伴随着他们长大，就可能他会一直朝着他喜欢这个人的模样去努力。但是我小的时候也没有什么偶像，然后我也不追星。我爸妈呢，因为工作的原因离我比较远，所以就在我的成长过程当中，没有 有就是给我的人生太多的指导。在学校里面的时候，因为我小时候成绩非常好，所以老师也对我特别放心，就没有就是除了学习之外，没有说关心说我的心里面是怎么样想的。所以就是我自己感觉一直都是我的世界观、我的价值观都是靠我自己的努力自己树立的，没有一件事情或一个人可以让我依靠，所以就是成长的过程当中，觉得一直都是一个人吧。然后小的时候就是因为小嘛，就是小朋友间就比较不成熟的女生呢，以前小学的时候会欺负我，所以就是导致我的性格也比较敏感，就很在意别人对我的看法，特别是怕给留下做了什么不好的事情，或者不小心说错什么话，给别人留下不好的印象。就那个时候就特别自卑吧，也找不到自己的价值，不知道自己说能够给别人带来什么。后来大学毕业之后，就那个时候因为就是想换一个专业，不想说继续原来的这个学业，所以说决定要出国。那个时候也比较迷茫。在我出国前2个月的时候呢，我的外婆就突然就出了意外，然后进了那个 ICU。当时就是我是一直和我外婆长大的23年，然后可能15年的时间都是在她的身边度过的，所以她那个时候进了医院，我就非常的难过，非常的痛苦。我其实家里面没有信仰嘛，但是那个时候我就开始就祷告，但是可能所有的神仙都拜遍了吧，不光是耶稣基督，还有就是弥勒佛然后什么就是观世音菩萨都拜遍了，每天晚上都在祈求说他们能够让我的外婆赶快好起来。可是就是最后他还是在2个星期之后就走了，所以对我们全家来说也是个很大的打击。我那个时候就非常不理解，因为我觉得他一直很身体健康，不知道为什么会发生这样的意外，然后也在想说为什么我就是做了这么多的祷告，但是还是没有用，他最后还是就去了，而且他去的时候就没有人陪在他的身边，所以我非常难过。那个时候呢，因为我已经决定要来美国，我也知道美国是一个基督教的国家，但是我当时就跟自己发誓，就说我觉得就这个世界上是没有神的，因为他就我这么长时间他都没有聆听我的任何的祷告，最后还是让我就很亲的一个人离开我了，就跟自己这么发誓吧，就说我即使来了这边也是会坚定我这个无神论的这个信仰的。其实就是神很奇妙嘛，我已经发过这么重的誓，但他还是没有放弃我，就反而是开始以另外一种方式介入我的生命，开始带领我。我来到美国的第1天，就那个时候，因为我在这边也没有认识的人，然后来了学校，就是一个基督徒的一个哥哥就来给我接机，然后那个时候他就问我要不要去教会，我就当时就出于不好意思嘛，因为人家来给我接机，就不好意思，我就说好，我就说跟他去。后来呢，就当时去了也没有什么太大的感动，他就是午饭的时候带着我祷告，就是心里面觉得他人很好，但是会觉得说这个祷告，他对我的祷告只是说一种想要吸引我来参加教会这种方式吧，我觉得。后来但是因为刚来美国又没有朋友然后教会也知道就是会提供免费的，就特别团契的时候会提供吃的嘛。后来就总是贪恋这些免费的食物，还有教会里面这种大家都很友好的气氛，所以就每周也是去团契。可是就是吃完饭了之后查经的时候呢，就会开始觉得好无聊然后就很想走。但是我还是坚持再去，因为我真的很喜欢教会里面这些人，然后会觉得他们给我的这种温暖，让我一个在美国无依无靠的人有了家的感觉。后来就一开始去团契的时候是 就是自己就是老是我们团契的当时那个开放家庭的主人，他老是每周发短信给我，就说雪婷你要不要这周要来呀？然后我就收到他短信以后，开始是他知道他短信提醒，然后才想到要去。后来呢，慢慢是自己主动的想要去。后来我还带着我的朋友一起去，反正这个过程就很渐进。但是那个时候也会一直很动摇，就是不知道说到底要不要相信，因为就是之前毕竟发生过这样的事情。后来主就慢慢的他就慢慢的带领我吧。后来我有个高中的朋友，他就也来到美国，然后也就和我读同一个班级，我们两个之前都不知道。他到了我们班，然后我才知道原来他也来美国了。然后他是一个非常非常虔诚的基督徒。后来我们两个因为是高中校友的关系，就每天在一起。他就每天就跟我讲就关于主的故事，然后关于他身上发生的所有的事情。当时我看到他就是因为他也是之前有过一些自己的经历吧，我就看到他，我就觉得他现在这么平安的样子，就非常羡慕。而且因为他带着我看一些书，然后跟我讲一些事情，我会觉得有主的世界真的是这么美好。就是也是因为他，我才开始说心里面接纳，愿意去相信说这个世界上真的是有一个神的存在的。后来我一个偶然的机会来到北加，我当时来就是特别特别想来，心里面完全没有其他的理由，就是想来。然后我之前一个团契的姐姐呢，就介绍我来了 CEF。我来了 CEF 之后呢，就认识了很多就是主内的朋友。当时其实就是一个状态是非常不好的 ，Charles 和丽丽姐都看到我都觉得我状态非常不好，因为那个时候什么都觉得在这边工作也没有，然后也没有在学习，也没有朋友。当时刚来的时候住的地方都还没有找好，反正一切都很不安定吧。后来在教会在那个团契里面，一开始去的时候也只是为了找一个落脚的地方，慢慢的跟大家的关系越来越好。然后每一次团契的时候，跟着大家一起祷告，我会跟 Charles 就是下来之后会讲一些话，他会给我一些开导。然后那个时候对未来非常迷茫，觉得好像自己就是又找不到自己的价值了吧。Charles 呢，他就鼓励我，他说他告诉我说，我应该要 hands on， 就是可能有很多选择放在我的面前，但是只有主给我的那个才是最好的。只要我不那么执着于自己，把所有的一切都交托给主，那他总会把最好的放在我的手中。我听了以后心里面就很平安，然后我就这么做了。每天晚上我就开始写日记，然后祷告，祈求主能够给我开一条路，能够把他觉得最好的放在我的手中。就很奇妙。然后1个月之后，我觉得好像是就情况就完全就变了。我有一份 volunteer 的职位，然后交到了朋友，找到了能够指导我的人，然后整个人就也变得非常的安定，不像以前那么慌乱无措。所以我觉得就这1个月发生了，在我的身上发生了很翻天覆地的变化。我就就是觉得我的祷告灵验了，然后我也觉得就是因为慢慢的逐渐的了解和认识，知道了自己以前的那种就是发的那个誓是多么的幼稚。后来我就是后来决定要信主了之后，整个人就变得非常的平安吧，不像以前那样好像没有依靠，然后没有根儿的感觉。现在是有主来进入我的世界里之后，我觉得世界变得有序了，我的思想还有我的行为都变得更加的坚定，不会说再因为别人的看法而改变自己内心真正的想法。现在我还是很敏感，但是不会像以前那样，就是总是在意别人对我不好的评价，而是更多的是会敏感到别人对我的关心和帮助。我对我的爸爸也是，我的父母也是，就是之前总是会觉得好像他们不太在意我，但是现在就是想到他们的时候，我会发现原来他们是多么伟大的父母，他们对我的每一点付出，我觉得从回想起来都能够在我的心里面浮现出来。 从前还觉得这个世界上真善美是不存在的，就是好像相信真善美是一件很傻的事情。现在会觉得，就是真善美是这个世界上唯一的答案，然后主也会特别眷顾，就是善良的人。主是道理，真理、道路和生命。在我最无助的时候，主是唯一的依靠，只有他在掌管着未来。我现在就是马上也要去北加工作，去南加那个学习了，然后也开始会觉得不知道自己为什么来了以后要走。现在就是回想起来过的路，就每一点连起来，就觉得，是主在帮我铺平一条道路，他对我非常的耐心，在我发了毒誓之后，他还是没有放弃我，一点一点的介入我的生命，拯救我。然后我觉得我来北加就是这半年，就是为了完成他给我的这个救赎，是为了到这里来就完成这个受洗。然后现在我要回去了，回南加，内心也非常的平安，因为他给我铺的路必然充满恩典。所以我的现在那个微信签名就是约伯记里面的一句话，就是我赤身出于母胎，也必赤身归去。赏赐的耶和华，收回的也是耶和华。我觉得这是我对主最大的一个感受，所有的一切都来源于他，我的未来也交由他掌管。我希望今后，就是我这今后的一生都有主的相伴。我也希望能够通过我，把主的这份信仰带到我的家庭里面来，让我的父母、我的兄弟姐妹都能够感受主的爱。谢谢。
Seems to pay attention to me since I have always taken good care of myself. I was very sensitive of what people think of me with a very low self-esteem. My grandma was in the ICU when I left for US, even though I was brought up as an atheist, but I prayed to God and any other religious idol I could think of. She passed away eventually, and I told myself then that I would never believe in God, but God never gives me up. When I'm in the US, I started attending fellowship every Friday night because of the free dinners, and people were very kind to me. In time, I started to see the goodness in people through the brothers and sisters. Later on, God sent a faithful Christian who happened to be my high school classmate. She had brought me closer to the Lord that I have seen what a blessing it is to have the Lord in the life. When I moved to NorCal, I joined CEF with Child's guidance. I accepted Jesus as my Savior, and my life has been different ever since. I don't care how people think of me anymore because I believe God created me for a special purpose, and He will never forsake me. The first few months after I moved to NorCal, I was helpless with my future. Charles told me that I need to be hands-on, meaning that I need to be accepting God's plan in every way and has faith in Him that He will prepare the best for me. I did as what I was told. I relied on Him wholeheartedly, and decisions are no longer mine but His. Then everything turned out fine just in 1 month. In Job chapter 1:21, and he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Life is only with meaning if the Lord is in it. I'm full of courage, joy, and peace. Now I know He is with me every step of the way.
心里有点紧张。大家好，我是谢小彪。今天可以在这里受洗归主的名下，成为主的儿女，并且在这里做见证，心里真的很高兴，也很激动。在没有认识主之前，我跟平常人一样，生长在一个普通的家庭。其实我很早就辍学，踏上这个社会的大家庭。到现在，在这个社会上，我 在发生在我身上的事情真的很多，不过还算顺利。就在2年前，在我身上发生了一件让我无法接受的事情。有的时候，我在想，可以靠自己的实力和努力，可以实现一切事情，但有的事情不是自己努力可以实现的。但有的时候心情非常不好的时候，又拿什么来依靠呢？有很长一段时间，我很苦闷，在精神上受到很大的打击，也很孤独，因此脾气也变得很暴躁。那是在没有来美国之前，我从来没有接触过基督教。在来美国之后，朋友带我进入教会，现在算起来差不多也有半年多的时间。我现在对主有初步的认识，随着和教会的弟兄姐妹接触与互动，再加上聆听主律学讲道的学习，感到自己找到了一个依靠。现在在生活上遇到不顺心的事，还是有烦恼和压力的时候，我都会在心里默默的祷告，这样我的心才能慢慢的平静下来，就不会变成那么暴躁了。而且通过祷告，我心里确实有一种从来没有过平安和喜乐。现在最大的变化就是心情比以前平静了很多，没有那么暴躁。我接触主的时间还不是很长，愿意继续不断的借着读经、参加主律学，来帮助我成长，并学习更多体会神对我的爱。我现在真正知道有这么一位爱我的主，我愿意相信，愿主坚固我的信心。我告诉自己，只要相信神的安排，凡事都有益处。也相信靠主的必能靠他得胜。愿一切荣耀归于神，也感谢神。愿圣经告诉我，敬畏耶和华是智慧的开端，认识至圣者便是聪明。我感谢神，因着主耶稣的救赎，让我知道从此以后我要远离罪，与主亲近。我愿意把自己交给我在天上的父，愿意接受基督做我的救主，他会引领我找人生未来的道路。就像圣经上告诉我的，我要专心仰赖耶和华，不可以靠自己的聪明，在你一切所行的事上都要认定他必指引你的路。不要自以为有智慧，要敬畏耶和华，远离罪恶。因此，我要把生命交给主，受洗归主的名下，一生跟随主，在这个世界上为主做见证。谢谢大家。
Hello everyone, my name is谢小彪. I'm very excited today that I'm baptized in the name of the Lord and became a child of Him. I grew up in an ordinary family in China. I quit school and entered society early on. Lots of things had happened since then. For some, I can rely on myself. But sometimes I became anxious and wondered if there is someone I can truly rely on. For a long time, I was miserable and felt lonely. I was also bad-tempered. After I came to the US, friends brought me to church. It has been over half a year now. Through the interactions with brothers and sisters in church and listening to Sunday sermons, I have some understanding of God and found something that I can rely on. Whenever I encounter trouble or stress, I prayed to God, and my heart calmed down. Through prayers, I have experienced the peace and the joy that I have not experienced before. And the biggest change in my life is my temperament. I'm not easily agitated or upset like before. I know this is God's work in me. Now I know that there is a God who loves me so much. What excuse do I have to not believe in Him? May the Lord strengthen my faith. I tell myself to trust Lord's arrangement and that everything works for the benefit of those who believe. Thank God for the salvation through Jesus Christ. I will abstain from sin. I will draw close to God. I accept Jesus as my Savior. He will lead my future path of my life. Therefore, I give my life to the Lord through this baptism. I will follow Him all the rest of my life and be a witness for Him in this world.
On August 18, 1998, I was born into a Christian family. Ever since I was born, it seemed like I've been coming to church every Sunday morning. After attending my old church for a year or two, my parents decided to move to Chinese for Christ Church. With my father being the pastor of the English congregation, there were certain expectations for me to live up to. I was supposed to be very well behaved. I was supposed to know all the answers to the questions that my teachers would ask. I was supposed to listen and always be respectful. For a while, I was the good pastor's kid, more or less. But around 3rd or 4th grade, I started acting out. It was around this time that church became more like a chore than something I actually wanted to go to. I began to feel very bored at church and felt like I gained nothing from the lesson. I'm sure all of my past Sunday school teachers can attest to how mischievous I was back then. It began with me just hiding out in my dad's office. I would spend my afternoons playing games on my father's computer. Eventually, my parents found out that I had been missing classes from the teachers, and they made sure I went to my classes. But that still did not stop me. I began asking to use the bathroom and never returned. Eventually, this turned into me just straight out running out of my class with one of my friends. We would hide out in the playground or in one of the rooms. I remember one specific occasion when I was finally contained in my class. I had brought my Bible with me, and on the side of the pages there were little cartoons. During the class, I ended up reading the cartoons. At the end of the class, I recalled the teacher talking to my dad. He said, "Wow, Zachary was very well behaved today. He was reading his Bible the whole time." During 6th grade, when I began to attend the weekly youth group meetings or soul shakers, I started to be more interested in coming to church. Growth groups, or groups that we split up into based on our age and gender, that would meet every now and then to do fun activities and talk about our walk with God, allowed me to bond with the people at church and helped me to be more interested in coming to church. However, it wasn't until around 8th grade that I started to take Christianity seriously. Over President's Day weekend, the Winter Youth Retreat, the speaker Peter Ong helped me to realize how simple I was. It was the way that Peter Ong spoke that really drove his points home. He preached in a very confrontational manner and almost accusing that made me really think personally. During the last night of the retreat, I felt like I prayed my first real sincere prayer. I prayed for forgiveness of all my sins, and I asked God to come back into my life so that I could live my life for Him. From that moment on, I finally began to grow in my walk with God. During the following years, I began to pay more attention to the messages and really tried to understand how God wanted to work through me. Thank you.
大家好，我叫 Zachary， 我从小就来教会。我是2岁的时候来到中华贵族教会，因为我爸爸是这边英文部的牧师，就是刚刚在台上的 Pastor Ken。因为是牧师的小孩，所以大家对我有一些期望，而且我也自己认为我 我应该要知道所有主日学老师问的问题的答案，所以我也当了一阵子的乖小孩。可是到我3、4年级的时候，我就开始有点不乖了。我就开始在我爸爸的办公室里面，有的时候会在那边打电动。然后主日学的时候，我也没有，虽然我去了，可是我也不想参加，所以我就利用各种的借口离开。有的时候我就借故上厕所，然后就不回来，然后或者是跟我的朋友就跑到 playground 去躲起来。我记得有一次，我不得不待在主日学教室里面，然后我记得那一次我有带我的 Bible， 然后在教室的旁边有一些 Bible 的一些卡通图画，然后我就只好乖乖的在那边看这些图画。在整堂课当中，我把图画从头到尾看到完。然后就发现，在课结束的时候，主日学老师还跑去跟我的爸爸讲说：“哇 ，Zachary 今天表现很好，他在教室里面很认真的在读圣经，把圣经都看完一遍。”直到我6年级的时候，我加入了 social group， 在这个 social group 里面有一个 growth group， 我可以在这边跟所有的其他的同龄的小孩有更好的连结。那这些朋友也帮助我，也更让我能够来enjoy来喜欢来教会。可是呢，一直到我18年级的时候，我才开始对基督教有认真的思考。在今年的总统节的 weekend， 在我们青年部的冬令会，那个讲员 Peter Owen 帮助我，让我了解到我自己的罪。我还记得在冬令会的最后一天的晚上，我做了一个我自己认为是第一个非常在神面前的一个非常诚心的祷告。从那个时候开始，我就开始我跟上帝一起的旅程。谢谢。
Hi, my name is Huang. Yes, opposite from right, without the W. Wrong. I was born in China and I was born in a non-Christian family. When I was 8, my dad found a job in Singapore, so our family moved there. So when I was 10, there was a new building constructed around near my house, but no one knew what the building was for. So one day while I was playing the playground, there was a man approaching me and my friend, and he handed us a poster. Basically, it was an invitation to that new building, and it basically says that if you come on Saturday, you will get a free balloon and a prize. So me and my friend was attracted by the prize, so we went. I later found out it was a church, and I attended my first children's worship service. The first children's worship service for me was an overwhelming experience. I remember we had to sing for the praises, and I was just shocked because I had never sang in front of anyone. And the lady in charge later asked us to pray, and I was just going down my head thinking, what are we doing here? So I got really scared and I stopped going. But I did tell my mom that there's a church built near my house, and she was interested in religion, so she started going to the Chinese service, not regularly, but she started going in and listening to their sermons. When I was 12, my maternity grandmother passed away. It was very devastating for my mom. She was really sad, so she leaned on God a lot. She started going to sermon more often, and she started going to small groups, and she also started reading the Bible. At one point, she even bought me a children's Bible. I think for the years that I have never went to church, my mom was this bond that actually linked me to God together. So when I was 16, my dad found a job again in the United States, and we moved to Pennsylvania. We don't have any Chinese church around our house, so my mom had no choice, but she stopped going. But when she was taking ESL classes, the teacher held Bible study sessions in her school, in her house, monthly, and my mom would go, and my dad would go because he wanted to improve his English. So I went with them, and in the Bible sessions, I learned the Gospels. And at first I thought it was very interesting because the Gospel is all stories. So I just go regularly with my parents. So in 2010, when I was 18, I got into college. It's in Pennsylvania. During the freshman year of my college, my dad found a job again in California, right here in San Jose. So my mom and my dad moved. And when they moved, it was a very miserable period for me because I'm the only child. So for my whole life, I've been taken care of by my parents. And also another thing is that for my whole life, because I'm the only child, I have always been told what to do by my parents. They would tell me when to eat, when to sleep, even take part in telling me which college should I go to. So when they were gone during my freshman year, I was miserable at the same time, but at the same time I got so much freedom because suddenly no one is there to tell me what to do. So I decided for that when they were gone, I was playing a lot because no one told me what to do. So I was playing, I would start skipping classes because they're just too early. I did most of my homework last minute and my tests too. So my grade was going really low. At first, it was just borderline passings. I was like, okay. And then finally, it came to sophomore year when my grade just I started failing a couple of classes, more than a couple, just a ton of classes. And I remember during sophomore year, it was during spring. So at the end of summer, when I just sat there and just looked at my grade and I was thinking, what happened? Why am I here? What should I do? Am I gonna get kicked out of school? I got very scared. And suddenly, it just came to my mind, maybe I could pray to God. So I remember kneeling next to my bed and I was just praying, talking to God. I was thinking, is there any things I can do? I mean, didn't do anything, but I did calm down a bit and I started thinking about what should I do, like my solutions and stuff. So during that summer, I started taking classes there in school. And while I was there, I started reading the Bible and prayed a lot more than I used to. And I started reflecting on my life, thinking about why would I end up here with like my grade all lows and stuff like that. And I realized that before, when I was thinking about me being an imperfect person, I always think that, yeah, everyone is imperfect. All our things is just part of us. It's just something that we have to live with. But then I think after reading the Bible, it actually made me reflect on myself and realize there's something that I should do and could do about my sins and make amends to them. So that summer I did study a lot harder and did brought up my grades a little bit. And when I came back, because my mom found this church when we just moved to California, so she has been coming here regularly. When I came back, I started listening to the sermons more seriously. And eventually, when I returned back home for my fall semester, I started going to the campus ministries. So yeah, I think my life and my walk with God is like growing up a tree. So when I was in 3rd grade, or when I was 10, when that guy handed me that poster, he planted that seed in my heart about God. People like my mom and the lady who opened up her house to do the Bible study sessions was those people who sort of watered it with God. And eventually, I think that tree grew up to where it is now, where I understand my sinfulness and I receive His grace and forgiveness. So yeah, thank you.
我的名字叫黄融，我出生在中国一个非基督徒的家庭。8岁的时候，我们举家搬到新加坡。 上3年级的时候，我们家旁边建了一座教堂，当时有人来给我们发单张，邀请我们参加聚会。因为是小孩子，受到奖品的诱惑，我参加了人生中的第一次敬拜。不过后来就慢慢就不再参加。然而我妈妈出于对于宗教的兴趣，就开始频繁地参加那里的聚会。5年级的时候，因着外婆的过世，我妈妈变得更加仰赖神了。她甚至参加了那里的小组聚会。我妈妈很多时候谈及神，还送给我一本儿童圣经。那时候虽然我不信，但是这些事情却在我心中留下了一条纽带。16岁的时候，我们再次搬家到宾夕法尼亚州，在那边没有中文教会，但是却有一位英文老师愿意开放家庭举办查经班。我时常去那个查经班。和上次不同的是，这一次我并不抵触学习圣经，我甚至有一点喜欢这样的活动。在那里，我才真正开始了解什么是福音，什么是基督信仰。2010年，我上大学，大一的时候，我的父母搬来了加州，我妈妈找到这一间教会，于是每当我放假在家时，就和他们一起来参加这里的中文崇拜。这重新连接了我3年以前3年级时留下的纽带。真正改变我的是大2的时候发生的事情。因为我是家中的独女，从来没有离开家生活过，父母搬离宾州对我来说是一件非常困难的事情。另外一方面，我却突然有了为所欲为的自由，因为从小都是父母督促我做事，离开他们，我不知道该怎么样安排我的时间。我浪费了很多时间看电视、玩游戏。大2上学期时，我的成绩付出了惨重的代价，甚至以为自己要被学校开除，我的人生也完蛋了。在这绝望之时，我想到了祷告。当我开始祷告的时候，我的内心平静下来，我开始努力的补习功课，认真的学习。我想大概是这个祷告让我找到了这些前进的动力吧。于是我更多的开始倚靠神，我甚至回到学校参加校园里的团契。福音对我最大的改变是怎样看待我自己。我过去认为不完美是人生中不可改变的一部分，现在我认为我们都应该借着祷告，尽自己的努力，把自己变得更好。我用了很长的时间才做出这样一个受洗的祷告。神也许是借着那个3年级时在我旁边发单张的人，在我心中播下了种子，借着我妈妈还有那位英文老师浇水，最后这样一棵树可以长大生根发芽。直到多年以后，在大学2年级，我现在才真正理解了我的罪，我真正接受了神的恩典和赦免。谢谢。
And grew up in a Christian household and family with my dad as a pastor. So I always went to Sunday school and children's worship where I sang, learned virtues, and learned Bible stories. And I went to long, often boring church events with my family. I remember when I was 4, Minister Janet asked me if I wanted to accept Jesus into my life. I said yes, and she prayed for me, but being as I was only 4, I didn't understand the gospel. It wasn't until I got to middle school when I was able to understand more of the gospel and get a deeper sense of God's love for me. Entering middle school allowed me to go to salt shakers, where we looked at Bible passages and observed, interpreted, and applied them. This also let me play games and spend more time in fellowship to get to know other brothers and sisters in Christ. Pastor Joey's lessons in salt shakers helped me better understand important concepts in the Bible. An important landmark in my walk with God was the winter youth retreat last year. Before the retreat, church had become one of those things in my schedule that I had to do, but not necessarily wanted to do, kind of like school. I still prayed daily, but it was never a meaningful prayer. It was mostly a quick, "Dear God, thanks for the meal, amen," or "Help me do well on this test." I didn't really think about what I was saying in my prayers, and I mostly memorized these phrases, and I was just saying them because I had always done it. In fact, that was what it was like for all other church-related God-related activities. I prayed, went to church groups and events, and sometimes read my Bible because I had always done them and because my parents made me. I still believed the gospel, but I never repented or taken steps to follow Jesus. The retreat last year was themed The Decision, talking about the decision to follow Jesus, with Reverend KJ Kim speaking. On the last night of the retreat, we had a night of sharing and prayer. We prayed for each other, but spent a lot of time praying to God. God must have done something in my life, like opened my heart, because I realized more of my unworthiness and unrighteousness that night, and I felt more of His love and mercy. Reverend KJ then encouraged any non-believers to accept Jesus into their life. During that time, I prayed a prayer similar to what Minister Janet had prayed with me 9 years before. I finally confessed my sins and gave thanks and praise to God. I now find myself more aware of my sins and find that I'm a little more patient and don't get upset as easily. I realize the importance of prayer, reading God's Word, and going to church and church events. So God has worked in my life in so many ways, so I give glory and praise to God. Thank you.
我在一个基督教家庭长大，在小时候，当传道人问我愿不愿意接受耶稣，我就说好，然后跟着传道人做了祷告。虽然我并没有完全的了解福音，直到中学的时候，在 South Shaker 里，在 Joey 牧师的带领下，我才更认识了福音跟神对我的爱。我学会读经、祷告，也会运用在我的生活中。可是教会生活似乎只是一个形式，并非我真心的想要去做。有时候我的祷告都非常的简短，像是亲爱的神，谢谢你桌上的饮食。亲爱的神，求你帮助我考试考好。有时候其实也是爸爸妈妈逼我才这样做。直到去年的青少退休会，在牧师的带领下，我们有了很多分享跟祷告的时间。神打开了我的心，让我看清了我的罪，也更感受到了神的怜悯跟爱。那天我做了一个跟小时候相似的祷告，只是这次我是认心的认罪悔改跟赞美神。现在我更重视读经、祷告和教会生活，我也变得更有耐心，不容易生气。神在我生命中做了许多的改变，一切荣耀都是要归给神。
I'm a high schooler from the English side of this church, and I didn't consistently go to church until several years ago. When I was very young, I would go to church with my parents for a short period of time and then stop for a while, and that pattern repeated until I completely stopped going to church. After a couple of years, my mother decided to bring me back to church because she thought it would be a good solution to the many problems I had to deal with. But when I went to church, my life didn't become any more orderly, so I decided that Christianity was just a false myth. Thankfully, my mother didn't give up on me, bringing me to church, and later brought me to this church's youth group when I reached middle school. It was here where I learned that Christianity wasn't just about believing some God existed so you could live forever. I got to meet new friends, and the youth pastor could answer my questions. But I only studied the Bible like a school textbook. I could easily remember verses and the profound questions, but I didn't really know why they were important. As my life became harder, I didn't really have the support for my beliefs in Jesus. I turned away from Jesus, indulging in sin, and then using my Bible knowledge to make people think I was some devoted Christian. I remember this one time when I was playing a game in youth group, and my group was depending on me to answer the Bible trivia, and I realized that my facade of a devoted Christian was starting to weaken when I didn't know the answer. I didn't really care much about the Bible, so I couldn't stand up for the reputation that others thought I had, and people could call out that I didn't really understand the Bible, noticing I was just using my Bible knowledge to look like a Christian when I clearly didn't look like one. I can recall how I was wondering how I could ever escape this problem, not being able to become a Christian or leave church. I later went on a trip with my mother for a week, and during that week of not living my usual life, I realized I couldn't run away from the guilt of my sinfulness by running to video games or my friends. I saw how hopeless I was and I needed a savior and a new life, so I turned back to Jesus. I decided to read the Bible again, and in these readings I found that there was still hope for me as a sinner, so I put my faith in Jesus again. The following months, I had a lot of new problems to face, but God led me to my youth pastor, helping me see that if I needed to repent of my sins, then it wouldn't hurt because Jesus was there for me and He died for me, and that I should desire to follow Jesus because I love Him and I can find real life in Him. I now have been born again in Jesus by His blood and resurrection, and I have full trust in Jesus because I've seen Jesus working through the lives of others and myself. Surely there must be a God who has prevented me from falling away from Him, and surely there must be a God that has been working through other people.
我的名字叫 Jonathan，小时候我父母带我来教会，但是一段时间之后我就渐渐不去了。几年后，妈妈再次被邀请来到教会。我的小时候有很多问题，妈妈认为去教会是解决这些问题的最佳途径。但是去了1年教会，并没有让我的生活变得更加有趣。于是我认为基督教不过是一种虚构的神话。所幸的是，妈妈并没有放弃带我去教会。初中的时候来到这里的青少年小组。这里的牧师能够回答我的问题，也有不少同龄的基督徒成为我的朋友。然而，我仅仅把圣经当作教科书来学，我能背诵经文，却不明白其中的问题为什么重要。当生活愈加艰难时，我对耶稣的信心找不到支撑，我远离了耶稣，沉迷于罪当中，还用自己对于圣经的知识来蒙骗别人，让别人以为我是一个虔诚的信徒。我尝试自己解决这个问题。我想，我要么成为一个真正的基督徒，要么干脆离开教会，却发现自己一个也都做不到。最后，我意识到自己的无助，我的生命需要一个救主，我也需要一个新的生命。于是我重新转向耶稣，我决定再次阅读圣经。在阅读的时候，我找到了罪人的希望，于是我信了耶稣。在接下来的几个月里，我有很多问题需要面对。神把我带到牧师的面前，他帮助我认识到悔改和跟随耶稣的重要性。现在我已经在耶稣的宝血和复活中重生，我看到耶稣如何在自己和他人的生命当中做工，我把信心完全的建立在了耶稣的身上。过去一定是出于神的作为，让我没有完全离开他，尽管我是多么容易跌倒，也一定是神在他人的身上做工，在我身边带出了许多美好的得救见证。谢谢。
First one, 何海静。赵雪婷。谢小彪。Zachary. Wrong. The right one. Katherine. And Jonathan. Thank you.